Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Powerful Man Show. I am your host, Doug Holt, with my co-host, Tim, The Powerful Man Matthews. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, doing great. Doing very well indeed. Yeah, it's been a nice day. Do you know what? Yesterday was such an effortless day. It was amazing. I was dissecting a little bit more today why that was. And what I noticed was yesterday morning, I gave myself a little bit more time in my morning routine, which you're probably going to scoff at because just for you guys that don't know, Doug really doesn't understand how much time I can spend in the morning doing what I do. But
Doing
to give
that
you
hair,
a quick rundown, what's that?
It's fixing up your hair. It's got to be.
Yeah, I've got to keep up with you, don't I?
Oh.
I'm not a silver fox yet, but one day I will be. Yeah, so anyway, I'll usually wake up about 6:30, hit the gym, and then go down to the spa, steam room, sauna, spa, and do Wim Hof stuff and meditate and breathe and all sorts of cool stuff. And I'll then get cracking with Powerful Man stuff by about 11:30 in the morning, midday. So I just love it. And yesterday, I gave myself a little bit more space after I did my Wim Hof breathing, which I love, by the way. It's that and the cold therapy after the sauna and the steam room. I am on fire after that. It's an ice shower as well, right by the side. It's awesome. So yeah, yesterday I gave myself a little bit more time to just be and think, and I gave myself a topic to think about, and it felt great. I left the gym not only feeling fired up, and also feeling like I'd emptied myself out. Because I had this real great piece of clarity around our marketing strategy. It just, when you have those moments and you just like a weight's lifted, you just see a problem completely differently.
Oh, yeah.
It was like one of those. So it was only half an hour longer I gave myself to just sit by the side and be and reflect, and made a world of difference. So did it again today. And yeah, it's been a great day.
Right on, man. I love hearing that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I've loved it. I know we spoke about that book, The Road Less Stupid, I think, wasn't it?
Yep.
It's all about thinking time. But
Keith Cunningham.
I've actually not read... Yeah, Keith Cunningham. I've not read that yet. But I do like... I know you do thinking time, don't you?
Yep.
And do you think about questions that he poses in there, or do you come up with your own stuff?
Both. I'll do both. Keith's book is really interesting. So I started Thinking Time before his book came out, but I got it from Keith, doing the way that I do it now. And I do a modified version, so I don't follow Keith's program as much. I saw Keith speak long time ago, and that's one of the things he talked about. He tells a story about how the person he looks up to, Keith Cunningham's a business coach, so to speak, and about the person he looked up to, and he was in a meeting, and the guy was scheduling something with him and says, "Oh, I can meet you after this time," because in his book he had thinking time booked, and it was not something he could ever move. And he talked about that being the number one thing for business that he's found for business success, better than accounting, advisors. It was thinking time. And so yeah, I do it similar, Tim, and I come up with my own questions. But I'll call it enhanced thinking time, where I've added biohacking and other things that we do within the Powerful Man to that time to yield better results for myself.
And just in case anyone watching or listening, Keith Cunningham, if I'm right, Doug, he was Rich Dad and Rich Dad Poor Dad, wasn't he?
Yeah, so Robert Kiyosaki was a student of his. And so when Robert wrote those books, it's a parable, right? Keith is Robert's rich dad. And Keith just never thought about writing a book. Of course, millions of copies and tens of millions of dollars later, Keith wishes he would have wrote that book now.
Well, he wrote another one.
Yep.
Yeah, he wrote a few, in fact, but The Road Less Stupid. So yeah, like I said, great day so far. So anyway, enough of our rambling. Maybe we'll do more on Thinking Time another episode.
My day was good too, by the way. Thanks.
Yeah, no one cares. So I was speaking with one of the guys, again, one of the business owners that joined the program, and he said something to me that, someone said something and I just really wanted to I really wanted to go on the attack, if I'm honest, which isn't very nice. But not in a nasty way, but just I completely disagreed with what he said. And, I introduced him to another way of looking at things. But anyway, what he said, Doug, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on this, is he said, yeah, well, I want to be with my wife, but it's just the way it is. You can never win an argument with your wife, can you? And I was like, interesting, right? Because, it's even thinking like that in the first place is a very dangerous place to be. So anyway, I know that you and Aaron have both been on a fantastic journey the past several years. And I imagine, I'm putting words in your mouth here, I imagine this might have been how you felt many years ago. Many years ago. I could be wrong. You're shaking your head.
No, so, that never came across with me, because when you think about it, when there's a winner, there's a loser. And when you're with your partner, right, then if that's your thought process, you're going to become the loser. And that's not manly at all for anybody. And who wants to be consciously or subconsciously a loser? Now, the way that was for me early on in my relationship, it's been all my relationships, is, I'm just going to win. The arguments escalate, right? Someone says something to you, like Amelia might say to you, or somebody listening to this, your partner might say, something like, you're always coming home late, and when you come home late, then I just never know what I should be doing. And then what happens? Then the guy escalates, well, I'm working so hard to provide for this family, and why do you always give me crap when I come home? It's just stressful. And then she might say something else, or she's crying, or she's walking away, and the guy walks away, and both people are mad, right? That's adversarial communication. It's two people got triggered, and they come through. And you're right. Erin and I, my wife, and I have been on a wonderful journey in the last 6-7 years of doing deep work on relationships, and communication's been a great one. And I'll tell you guys, if you guys are like, hey, relationship communication is okay with me. If it can get better, work on it to get better. And second thing is, I use these same tactics on Tim or anybody else that I'm working with. This is just communication, right? At the end of the day, you want to get communications about, listening, but persuasive communication is about getting your idea across and landing on that other person. And this guy, my guest, Tim, he's trying to go one way and bullet through his wife rather than landing the communication and message on her. And with that thought process, well, you can't win an argument. Really what he's just saying is, I give up. She's in control. Let's give her the pants. Or he's being like a teenager, which he's basically saying, screw you. I'll agree with you while the argument is going on, but screw you. I'm going to do what I'm going to do anyway. That's just a kid. That's a reaction of a child. And I've been there, so I get it. I'm not just calling him out, but I'm calling him out so hopefully he understands that. So there's a lot of things that you can do here, Tim, to not only get what you want in the communication you're having, but also get more intimate, like more intimacy and connection between your partner, your wife in this case. And again, this works in business as well. It's a great communication skill in business to do. And there's several ways that you can do this, and we're not going to have time to go through all of them. But one of them is simply, don't do, right, is a way that you can think about it, right? And that is, so if you come home, as an example, and your wife says something like, you're always coming home late, I just don't know what to do. You expect me just to wait around for you. So instead of going right at her, you confirm that what you don't want in the situation, and then you're going to talk about what you do want in that situation. So another way of doing it, rather than going right at her, like, hey, I provide for this family. What do you expect from me? I'm working my ass off. Something like that. You could say, look, I absolutely don't want you to feel like that you're last on my list. That's absolutely not what I want you to feel that you're first, and that you understand that, I'm out there working really hard, and we have a common goal to achieve here, that we're really trying to buy a house, put our kids through school, whatever it may be. And the key with this is first the don't, right? You're validating that person, that you heard them, and you're telling them, I don't want you to feel that way. So if you're married, it's an easy thing, right? And that, by the way, in that scenario, I never admitted that I was wrong. I never said anything I did was wrong. I never said anything that's going on in my life is bad. All I did was validate her feelings and what I want, right? I don't want my wife to feel, and I'm making up this scenario, so I'm trying to remember what the argument was. But I don't want my wife in that case to think that I'm putting her last, right? No man wants their wife to think that she's last on the list. No man wants to hurt their wife's feelings, right? Really, or make her wife cry. So first, you talk about what you don't want in the situation, and now you have common ground. Then from that common ground, and let's go through a couple examples in a second, Tim. Through that common ground, then you talk about what you do want in that situation. What is it you do want? Hey, what I really want to do is, have you making sure you understand that you are first, and that we're able to put our kids through school, whatever it is. And that requires me to work, really late at times. So I'd love for us to come to a common ground so we can come up with a way that works for us as a family. I love you so much. Right? That conversation ends up in nice sex, hot sex. It ends up amazing. Everybody's loving. Her guard is released, right? Her defenses are down. And now you guys can actually have a conversation.
Hang on a minute. Just to be clear to the listeners, he said he uses these tactics on me. Those tactics don't lead to sex. They don't lead to that.
Not with you, but when I walk away and tell my wife what I just did, I look better. No, just kidding. No. Yeah, you can use them in business as well. Because look, in business, it's human to human, right? We're working with other people, coworkers, so emotions get involved. At the Powerful Man, like, we're working with business leaders. We have a lot of business leaders who we're coaching. So you have a lot of alpha guys, and especially after the alpha reset, these men are so solid in who they are as a man and who they are as a business leader in their relationships. And so you can come into emotional conflicts there when maybe we're not going the direction that they think we should be going in, or whatever it may be. And so I'll use this a lot, Tim, as well, in handling those communications so everybody's on the same page. Right? Or in a sales presentation, or with another vendor, I'll use this a lot. You're talking to another leader, a vendor, they're triggered, they're coming at you quickly. Instead of clashing, I'll use the don't do. Now, this is one of many things we teach within the Powerful Man, one principle, but the don't do principle is a great way of doing it. It's a contrasting principle that you can do in business. And if it's a business person, I can then say, look, what I don't want is for us to have an adversarial relationship. I don't want you to feel that you're getting the short end of the stick here at all. What I do want, though, is for XYZ company or XYZ company to fulfill on the contract that we agreed on, so that we can all move forward and grow. How can we do this together? Right? Totally diffuses it. Right now, we're just having a conversation, and it's a collaborative conversation, which most likely is going to result in me making more money, and that person having a better relationship with me, and therefore bringing me more business.
Mm-hmm. Great point. I think it's also smart to just mention here as well. Typically, women argue to connect, right? Women will fight to connect. Men fight to win. So it reminds me of the conversation with this guy again, because the approach that he would take in business is he's so used to bulldozing his way through everything.
Totally.
It literally said, I go through business every day, and I smash through hurdles, and I smash down obstacles, and I come home to my wife, and she's complaining about, some dirty dishes, and I'm like, come on, I've just been doing this. And that's where he thinks that he immediately feels attacked. So he kind of goes back into the same mode it was in business. Right, I'm going to bulldoze through this, which then causes her to close down. And it just continues to create the rift. Imagine it happening several times a week. It just continues to create a divide between them two.
Well, let's role play that scenario out, Tim. So in this case, you'll be the wife, and I'll be the man, as normal. So what we'll do is run through the scenario. So I just get home after bulldozing or crushing work, and you say what?
How's work?
That's not how the fight starts.
Well, I'm going to cut you down.
Okay. Work was amazing. I crushed it. So we had this company over the.
Yeah. Okay. I'm done. I'm bored now.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go through the scenario of the argument. How's that sound? So I come home. Yeah. How does the argument play out?
By the way, I was playing the role of the woman then. I'm done. I'm bored now.
I get it.
Not to offend any female listeners. I'm just joking. Go on. So what are you saying about the role play? Say it again. Completely wasn't following you there.
This is listening 101. We'll do a whole podcast on listening after this.
Yeah.
So let's role play so the guys can get how this can work in real life situations. Maybe you can be Amelia, right? Or whatever you want to do. But let's start an argument together where the woman attacks first and then the guy, what could possibly work here, right? And we can use this guy's example that you were talking about, right? You said the dishes and he crushes at work. Mm-hmm. So I'm him. You're his spouse in this case. Mm-hmm. You're masculine enough to be able to play that role securely. And then, so I come in the door. What does she say?
She says, "You're home late."
Yeah.
I thought you were going to be home at 5 o'clock. I plan on having dinner ready and, it's 6 o'clock and you're home late.
So then, okay. So, hey babe, look, what I don't want you to do is feel like you're left out at all. And I don't want you to feel like you're always waiting for me. That's not what I want here. What I really love to do is be able to be in a position where sometimes I do have to work late, that we can come home and be together. And I want to figure out a way to work this, the way that we can do that works for both of us. Because I thought we were understanding that I was going to be working late today.
Okay. It's pretty hard to stay mad in that position, isn't it?
It's really hard as the wife to be mad, right? Because I've validated you. And that's the key there. So I validated the woman in this situation, the scenario, the partner. And so she can't get mad because basically what I said is you're important to me, right? I'm sorry that you feel that way. I'm not sorry for what I did. I'm not sorry I came home late. I'm just sorry for the way you feel. I'm sorry you feel that way because I am. I care about it.
There's a caveat though, right? Because, it's not like you can just use this line once and, then use it again and again and again and again. You've got to actually, it's going to create an opening. So you don't have to be in an argument where someone wins and loses. But then you're going to have to act, right, based on what comes out of the conversation.
Well, if you're listening, one of the last things I said is, how can we do this? How can we make this work? So now I brought us into collaboration. So if your wife is not going to listen to you guys, you're going to probably have to say this multiple times. my role-playing wife.
If you've made lots of broken promises, right, and she's just
it's going to take
doesn't
time.
Trust you.
Yeah. If you've been making broken promises for 7 years, guys, it may take 7 years to build that bridge. It's not going to take that long, but you need evidence, consistent evidence that you can do this, and that you can interact this way. Because what happens is neurologically, you come home and your wife now, this is what we do. We fight. Let's go, right? She's going to be triggered and she's going to be ready to go. And it's going to take time to rewire her nervous system. And if you mess up one time in this thing, she's going to go right back to default going, you know what? I knew it. He's an asshole. Right? So you have to be strong and you have to really stand in what we call standing in your power in order to do this. And that comes with really knowing yourself and being secure with who you are as a man, knowing your identity, right? And letting things bounce off you, right? Yeah. She's not attacking you. She's attacking the way she feels in this case. Then you can just validate it. You can almost step aside, like you're looking at it from a third person perspective and look at these two people talking and go, what is she looking for here? What's the outcome she wants? Okay. What's the outcome I want? Okay. And now I can have a conversation. Let me validate her outcome, right? I don't want you to feel that way because I don't, right? And now I'm going to tell you what I want. And odds are I'm going to get what I want out of that situation because I'm being very powerful. I'm being very assertive in a loving way, but I validated her, which is first and foremost. She has been heard. She has been seen, which is very important for feminine people, right? Especially to be seen. And then I'm also saying that I don't want her to feel that way. If I can sprinkle in a little desire in there, there's nothing more I'd love than to come home, right, and be with you and, have dinner and then go upstairs and make sweet love to you, baby, right? Whatever you want to say, that's an amazing thing because now she's feeling desired. That changes the whole conversation.
Totally, yeah. I remember when sometimes I get this from Amelia and, when you are able to be in your own space, because sometimes it can be totally unjust, right? You may not feel like, you may not deserve it sometimes. You may not have done anything, quote unquote, wrong, let's just say. But when you're able to be in a place where you can stand your ground and hold space and almost like melt that ice with playfulness, as well as allowing them to be seen, that's a game changer. And years ago, Doug, if I would have listened to what you're saying years ago, I would have probably said, you know what, that sounds really nice and ideal to be able to talk in that way. But that's just not realistic. That's just not life, Doug. But then what I now come to realize is back then, I hadn't done the work on myself. So in order for me to be able to, well, when I hadn't done the work on myself, I couldn't see myself even acting like that. And as you know, in order for anything to happen, you first got to see yourself doing it, right?
Sure.
And because of that, I couldn't hold my own space. I was like a big walking bruise. Whenever someone pressed me, I'd be like, oh. In relationships, mostly anyway, I'd be so reactive.
Well, that's where most people are triggered, right? Is relationships. You don't get triggered as much around other areas of your life.
But yeah, the key has been over the past few years doing the work on myself. Because when you layer it with simple strategies like this, it's like being given a cheat code to something. Or it's like you're a black belt and you get given an extra stripe on the black belt and you become like a Jedi Master or something.
Sure.
Not that I'm saying Jedi Master. Because I'm definitely not a Jedi Master.
I did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for a little while. And, you go in there. I remember going as a newbie doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I remember rolling with a black belt. And I was twice this guy's size, Tim. Twice this guy's size. And all he did, he was talking to people as he was going around me like a spider, and I'm trying to slam him down and everything, get him moving. And he's sitting there having conversations about the weekend. And next thing I know, I'm in like a pretzel hold. This guy's got me wrapped around myself, and I don't know how he even got there. And it was effortless for him. The same thing happens with this, right? This guy had a strategy and he had worked on it and had the skills, and I didn't have them yet, right, at that time. So I still don't have them. But the point is you want to keep practicing it, right? And you want to keep working with this. And start using that formula. It's really simple. Don't, do, right? So here's what I don't want. Here's what I do want. And the don't part is the validation portion of this, right? I don't want you to feel this way, or, if you have kids, right? Your spouse may come to you and go, you know what? You always let the kids get away with everything, and I always have to play the bad cop. Right? That could be an argument. Now that can go in, well, I don't see them very often. Anyway, you can go on this whole way. You guys know how that whole thing plays out. But it could play out this way, right? She could say that to you. And you could say, look, I don't want you to be the bad cop, right? I don't want that at all. You're a great mother. What I want is to spend
just that you are the bad cop.
What I want is to spend quality time with my kids, right? With the children, and do it that way. So let's find a way together that we can make it so you don't feel like you're the bad cop, and that I can still feel like I'm playing. How's that sound? Right? So this is what I don't want. I don't want you to feel like you're the bad cop, or whatever it is in that scenario, and you move on. And this, we look at this, we talked about it recently in a podcast about divorce. And we talked about it several times. And I think a lot of times this is what leads to it, is these miscommunications, right? Because these miscommunications get stacked. The next thing you know, it's my husband doesn't understand me. He doesn't listen to me. He's a jerk. And the husband saying things like, I can't win an argument with my wife, so therefore I just go inward and I totally disconnect from her, thus creating a bigger gap between us in the relationship. And therefore she's going to find connection somewhere else. And then you end up in front of a divorce lawyer, signing half of your assets away, and hopefully seeing your kids on the weekends.
The more that you work on yourself, Doug, the easier this is, right? It's so much harder to go straight in and communicate like this if you're not doing any work. It can be done, of course, but it's so much easier to hold your ground and communicate calmly.
Well, this is
right.
This is 100% why I got involved with the Powerful Man movement, right? I didn't start this by any means or anything else. I came, you and I connected. I went to the Alpha Reset when we had it, and to check it out, to see what it was from a coaching standpoint as a coach. And I was blown away at the results the men got. And I was like, I want to be involved in this, because these guys were now in a state of complete reset, right? They were able to reclaim who they were as men. And that gives you the foundation for everything else going forward. If you don't have that foundation, you're going to crumble, right? You're going to come home You're going to try this a couple times, go, wow, this really works. That thing Doug told me, it's awesome. It's working. And then day 2 or 3, you're going to come home and your wife's going to say something else, right? She's going to test you and you're going to snap and go back at her because you're not secure with yourself. You don't know who that powerful man is that's inside of you. And that's why I got involved in the Powerful Man movement, because I want all guys to have that opportunity to do so, because it's like an accelerator. It's like someone coming into your business, right, and investing $10 million and then also giving you complete access to Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett, Richard Branson, and everybody else's advisors to help you scale it, right? It's like, holy cow, this is an accelerant that allows me to ramp up my business. This ramps up your life. And to yourself, Tim, what you were saying is you got to focus on the self first, and then this becomes a lot easier. Right? If you just dipping your toes into this, guys, it's really tough. Like, I'm not gonna lie, she's gonna trigger you. You're gonna respond. You gotta get your reps in. And we use that analogy of working out a lot. If you went through an 8-week challenge and you lost, 10 pounds, 2 stone, whatever, but you stop working out, you're gonna get fat again. You got to get your reps in. You got to keep going back and day in and day out. And it's a journey, but the rewards are so sweet. It is such an amazing time to be able to have that level of communication with your partner where you're open, you're honest. And guys, I promise you right now, if you give this to your partner is going to give you things that you never knew existed. Not even at home, but in the bedroom. It's going to be an amazing experience for you guys, because if you open her up emotionally, well, she's going to open up in a lot of other ways. Let's just say that. See it time and time again.
Metaphorically speaking.
Of course.
Funny. One key takeaway it's pretty obvious, right? If I say one, it's the don't do.
Don't do. Yeah. Use the contrasting method. It's one methodology of, a lot, and I was going to say hundreds, but maybe it's not quite hundreds, that we teach within the Powerful Man that we've got from other resources, right? This is not stuff we just created, but stuff that we've battle tested, so to speak, in the trenches. We've used this to see if it works. And it does. And then we pass it off to the men. Does it work? Yes, it does. And we put it into formulas. So don't do. Try it. Try it with your spouse. Try it with your kids. Try it with your wife. But definitely keep consistent with it. Right? What don't you want? What do you want? And roll into that. You'll see things just melt through. It's like a hot knife on butter. It makes it so much easier. All right, guys, that's it for us on another episode of the Powerful Man Show. As always, if you want to know more information about what we do here at the Powerful Man, go over to thealphareset.com. That'll give you some basic information on how to get started at our base level, which is the activation method, along with that retreat that I was talking about during this show, which is the Alpha Reset. The reason that I got involved in the movement in the first place, just an amazing experience. You go over there, there's no obligation. You'll get a chance to watch a couple trainings. They resonate with you. Then you get a chance to get on a call with one of our master coaches just to have a conversation. No obligation. It's a movement for men, businessmen specifically, to help you get better. Until next time, we'll see you on another episode of the Powerful Man Show. Take care, guys.